Hi fantasy managers, welcome to FPL Team Talk. So in this video we're going to review game week 14. We're going to have a look at those players that did really well, expected goals, expected assists, overall goal involvement. We'll also have a look at the players that are predicted to get the highest amount of points in the next 2 game weeks before we split up for the World Cup. We'll round it off by looking at our mini league as well, who's top, who performed well this week. So if you enjoy your FPL content, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Team selection videos, watch lists coming out. In the meantime, lots to get through. Let's take a look. So on screen we have all the fixtures now completed for game week 14. It's quite a nice sort of normal old-fashioned game week. We had all the fixtures played on Saturday through to Sunday. Quick turnaround, gives us lots of time to consider our transfers for the following game week, so that's quite nice. Start off with Man City beating Leicester and then finish with the other Manchester club beating West Ham. So let's have a look at some of those players that expected wise got the most expected goals, assists and overall goal involvement. As you'd expect, and we've seen him before, Callum Wilson topping the charts in terms of expected goals. He picked up 2 goals, but not just that, picked up 2 assists as well. Crazy match for him. Trossard right up there, Nelson. Che Adams, even though he didn't get a return, missed a couple of really good opportunities, so his expected goals was high. But over 2, we saw him last week, I think, as well, Callum Wilson. Back on it. He's a player that maybe we should be considering if you haven't already got him. And whilst Newcastle beating Villa 4-0, as you'd expect, another player getting into that top assists bracket as well, and that was Trippier. So he actually just picked up the 1 assist. He was expected to get just over that. Jesus up there as well. Mitoma for Brighton. Wow. His first start, I think, as they scored 4 goals, he was right in amongst the assists. So that was interesting. I wonder if he gets more starts now. He could be an enabler and a good option going forward. So one to keep an eye on. In terms of the overall expected goal involvement, then, one player that I thought never see on here, especially this soon, Reiss Nelson, coming on for Saka, who got injured. 4.8 million is all he is. 2.16. Now he normally, when I sort of go through the stats, I have to have a minimum requirement of playing 60 minutes. He just got over that. So his figures have been extrapolated up to 90 minutes. So for that reason, he creeps in there. But he's well worth having a look at. 2 goals, 1 assist in just over his hour's worth of football. 16 points. Jesus right up there. Trossard again as well. And Wilson. But wow, what a week for Reiss Nelson. If he's going to replace Saka longer term, you wonder if he's perhaps an option in that Arsenal side. One other player that I think was definitely worth mentioning, whether or not I consider him for seriously in the future, I'm not sure, because Bournemouth's goal and sort of expected goals just look so low, the poorest in the league. But away at Leeds, at home to Everton, Kiefer Moore got 2 goals from just 3 shots, 13 points, a good XGI as well, only 5.4. If you're already on Solanke, I'm not sure it'll be worth moving across there, but one just to keep an eye on and definitely interesting to have a look at, and someone different on the charts as well. So let's have a look at how I got on in game week 14. Bit of a contrast in consideration to what I did in game week 13. Went up something like $500,000, now I've gone down 700,000. I console myself with the fact that actually I'm only 20 points off the top million. So it just shows how congested FPL is at the moment. Good Newcastle clean sheet, got the Trippier. Captaincy was Saka, so that couldn't have gone much worse, really. Did get the assist, I guess, but coming off so early even robbed me of the extra point he gets after 60 minutes. So that was disappointing, especially when they're playing at home to Forest and they put them to the sword. Anyway, can't lament on that. Haaland, obviously, got the news that he was out. Foden on the bench. Gomez didn't start. So lots of issues. So players that I didn't want to play, such as Mount, he meant he wasn't going to play, but he came in. Tony was very annoying. I transferred Tony in about 10 minutes ago to the deadline. The website crashed for FPL. You're probably aware of that. So I couldn't take him off the bench and bring him in. That would have been really annoying had he returned. He didn't. He's picked up a yellow card, so he's suspended. So that when I really wanted him for game week 15, I can't have him. That is the risk I took. Didn't pay off. But all in all, not a great week. But again, in one week it's really good, the next it's not. I think we just got to take the rough with the smooth. Still enjoying it, and I'm still enjoying the journey. So let's take a look at some of those players that are predicted to do well over the next couple of weeks. And remember, we've only got 2 weeks to go until we break up for the World Cup and we get to rehash our side completely. So it's only the next 2 game weeks we need to look at. Cancelo right up there, hardly surprising. With those fixtures, just looks brilliant. Even with the difficult game against Tottenham, you've got Robertson, who got an assist at the weekend, and Trent, both up there as being some of the most expected highest point scorers for defenders. Not sure how much I agree with that these days, but there isn't a better defence. Maybe you could argue with Manchester United and Dalot being close up there, but they have 2 away games. So that Southampton game already, I think, will give them a bit of a boost, Liverpool. But Trent, Robertson, right up there. I haven't seen Robertson in there for a while because of his injury, but Cancelo is a standout as always. In midfield then, similar familiar names. De Bruyne with those fixtures looks absolutely brilliant. Then comes Mohamed Salah, slightly more expensive, but decent fixture away at home to Southampton. Obviously returned at the weekend. Difficult game against Tottenham. And Heung-min Son, even though they play Liverpool Leeds away, he's still up there. It has to be said, he is going down in terms of his predicted points. Not sure how much longer he's going to be deserving of staying in that top 3. Up front, familiar pattern as always. Haaland, if he's fit, definitely expected to get more points than anyone else. Followed 3 points behind by Kane as you expect, and then Mitrovic just holding on to that 3rd place. But he has some very difficult fixtures. But we know he's nailed on pens, so possibly that's giving him a bit of a boost. In terms of other players looking at that just could provide a bit of value, I've picked out 3 players. Bernardo Silva, he's played something in the last 10 games for Manchester City, just playing every week. With Foden being dropped for the last 2 games, or rested, however you want to sort of phrase it, rotated, does Bernardo become a safer option now? 8.1 is expected, 6.9. With those 2 fixtures, I don't really want to miss out on that Man City midfielder. So Bernardo could be an option. He feels like a little bit of a luxury transfer. Calvert-Lewin, 2 great fixtures for Everton. He's nailed on pens now up front as well. Is an option. It does put me off just worrying about Everton not scoring many goals. And finally, with Ronaldo, did play today, so that worries me a little bit. His expected goal involvement stats aren't looking too bad. Does worry me though, just playing away from home, Villa and Fulham. Away from home, not sure he's got the same potency as he does at home. But 3 players I thought just have a look at. Not necessarily going to say they're going to go on the watch list, but maybe to keep an eye at in the shorter term. Let's have a look at how we got on in the mini league then. Suvilist Dragan Stojanovic still top of the mini league. Let's look at how he got on this week. In fact, before we do, I did promise, I love Jesus, I promised game week 13 he had the most points, 83 points. And look at it, he had Xhaka, who obviously returned, Almiron, this is going back to game week 13, Haaland, Kane, lots of players. Bailey, imagine, 83 points was brilliant the week before. Bailey 13, wow, if he'd come off the bench instead of a Foden, it'd be crackers, you think, to play him off the bench instead of Foden. But if you had, wow, you'd be up to 96. 500,000 in the world ranked as well, so really doing well. So one quick mention to him as well. I looked at his website, Midnight Mule FPL, does things a little bit differently. He's trying to get in the top 5% and giving you steps and choices along the way. I do like it. It's well worth a watch. Giving you a plug there for FPL Midnight Mule. I think it's a decent watch and something different. This week, Suvilist, he got 51 points. Martinelli, Rashford cashing in there. Saka, is that going to be an issue for us? Trippier, Pope, Cancelo keeps his number 1 slot. For the next one, who scored the most points? 90 points for Darkest FC, Amir Fosi. And there's a few different sort of players because a lot of them just didn't perform as you'd expect. But Pope, Trippier are in there. Cancelo, Rashford was interesting. Martinelli, Wilson and Jesus captain. Dalot has been brilliant, scooping up all those prize points as well. The bench was perfectly placed. Maybe you could put Gordon instead of Foden, but I don't think any of us would have done that. But wow, what a week. Up to 75th. Really good for him. That's it for this one then, guys. Let me know in the comments below, how did you get on in game week 14? We only have 2 more game weeks until we break up for that World Cup. So we've got lots more content coming out to you in the meantime. Team selection, what list, all those good things. Don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. And in the meantime, take care. Speak to you soon.